For the third T20 World Cup in a row, we're getting an absolute blockbuster of a semifinal. India versus England. But listen, this is so much more than just another match. This is the final epic chapter in a trilogy. Right now, after two incredible, high-stakes semifinals in the last two World Cups, the score between these two cricketing giants is perfectly, tantalizingly tied. One win for England, one for India. Honestly, this rivalry has basically defined the knockout stages of the tournament recently. So, with the stage set for the decider in Mumbai, it really all boils down to this one question. In this third and final act, who is going to be the one to break the tie and march on to the final? So here's how we're going to break down this epic rivalry. We'll kick things off with the story so far, then we'll get into the tale of the tape to see how these teams really stack up. We'll also look at the Mumbai battlefield where this is all going down, and then finally, we'll figure out the absolute keys to victory. Okay, so every great trilogy has an origin story, right? To really get what's at stake here in Mumbai, we have to go back and see how we got here. This isn't just a single game, it's the peak of a drama that's been playing out on cricket's biggest stage. And this timeline, it just lays out the saga perfectly. The first chapter? That was written in Adelaide back in 2022. Then, the plot took a huge twist with a big reversal in Guyana in 2024. And now, the final act is all set for Mumbai. It's a true three-part epic. And the difference between those two matches? Whoa, it couldn't be more dramatic. In 2022, England delivered a crushing, absolutely unforgettable 10-wicket thrashing. But then, just 2 years later, India fired right back with a dominant performance of their own, getting that sweet revenge with a 68-run win. The rivalry is just perfectly balanced on a knife's edge. All right, so with the history set, let's bring it to the present. How are these two contenders stacking up right now? It's time to analyze their strengths and maybe expose a few of the cracks in their armor. First up, the home team, India. They are coming into this match in absolutely blistering form, and of course, they've got the full force of that home crowd right behind them. Let's break down what makes them so tough to beat. India's strengths are pretty clear. Their top-order batting is just explosive. You've got guys like Suryakumar Yadav and Sanju Samson who just hit a match-winning 97 not out. Then there's their bowling attack, which is so well-balanced. It combines the raw pace of Jasprit Bumrah with the tricky wrist spin of Kuldeep Yadav. And, of course, you absolutely cannot underestimate that massive home crowd advantage. But look, they're not invincible. There's a big reliance on that top order, which means if England can snag a few early wickets, they could expose a bit of middle-order inconsistency. And while their bowling is strong, things can get a little dicey in those final few death overs of an innings where big hitters can score fast if the pressure's on. Okay, let's switch gears and have a look at the visitors. England brings this fearless, super aggressive style of cricket that, on their day, can just completely dismantle any team in the world. I mean, their biggest weapon has to be that incredibly deep and aggressive batting lineup. From Jos Buttler and Phil Salt right at the top, all the way down to guys like Harry Brook and Liam Livingston, they can attack you from the very first ball. This fearless, go-for-broke power hitting, plus a ton of all-round options, makes them so dangerous. But England has a pretty well-known Achilles heel. They can be vulnerable against high-quality spin, especially on the turning pitches you often find in the subcontinent. They also lean pretty heavily on their captain, Jos Buttler, to get them off to a flying start. If he gets out early, their whole rhythm can just fall apart. But, this battle won't just be decided by the players on the field. The arena itself, the iconic Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai, is going to play a massive role in how this all turns out. Yeah, the Wankhede is famous for being a batsman's paradise. It's got short boundaries, a great pitch, which means we should expect to see a ton of runs. And here's the kicker. The evening dew can make it really hard for bowlers to grip the ball, which tilts the game even more in favor of batting-heavy teams. On paper, that sounds like fantastic news for England's army of power hitters. Okay, so we've looked at the history, we've looked at the teams, we've looked at the battlefield. Now it's time to boil it all down to the single most important matchup that could decide this entire game. In a T20 game, especially at a high-scoring ground like Wankhede, the power play is everything. Those first 6 overs, when the fielding restrictions are on, can absolutely set the tone for the rest of the game. If you win the momentum there, it's often decisive. And that brings us to the key battle, which this slide lays out perfectly. It's India's best bowler, Jasprit Bumrah, going up against England's most explosive batsman and captain, Jos Buttler. If Bumrah gets Buttler out early, it could completely derail England's entire plan. But if Buttler gets on top of him, he could put India on the back foot from the get-go. So, who has the edge? Well, when you weigh everything up, both of these teams are incredibly evenly matched. But, as you can see here, the data gives India a slight, and I mean slight, statistical edge. That home crowd advantage and, crucially, their better spin attack in these conditions just tips the scale in their favor. Which leaves us with this final, tantalizing thought. Is India's home field advantage and their mastery of spin gonna be enough to get them through? Or is England's fearless, all-out attack batting gonna rewrite the final chapter of this incredible trilogy? We are going to find out in Mumbai.